So this is one of the 4 springs we have on the property, and this is a real blessing. One of the key things that we wanted, or we looked for in property, was to have lots of water, and we have 4 nice springs that run, and 3 of them run year-round. So this is the collection point for the ram pump here, and before I had the camera, I came down here and I was just kind of cleaned this out a little bit. But what I've done is I've taken the screen off of it. I keep a piece of, this is just screen door material that I saved, and we want to protect this inlet here because this is going to supply our ram pump. We don't want any pine cones or debris. This will have to be cleaned out probably once a week or so. So you may not be, if you're new to the channel, you may not know what a ram pump is, and I highly encourage you to stick around here, because if you haven't seen one or don't know what it is, prepare to be amazed, because I certainly was when I first learned of it. And there we have a very small screen that won't allow anything to clog up our ram pump. So those of you guys who are plumbers are not going to need me to explain this to you. You should be explaining it to the rest of us. But what it's doing is we've basically moved the supply of water down to this area. We're still maintaining that head pressure. And what it does is it's like a vent in your plumbing system. It's drawing air right here, and I'm not trying to suck air from all the way up that pipe and compete for air and water at the same time. So cutting it a T right here and putting the standpipe just above the ram pump gives it a nice free flow of air, can suck in, the line can keep going, and essentially just moving the water supply down here. Okay, yeah, I can see we got something in the line here. Not enough water is getting through to activate the check valve. You can just shock this and break that union loose. Nothing a big old hammer can't sort out. So I'll bet when we open this up, we're going to have a bunch of pine cones and junk in there. We'll get this cleaned out. Everything's going to be really nice. I'll bet you there's a pine cone in there. There's a pine cone in there every year. Oh yeah. It's not flowing as much as it should. Oh, it's really backed up in there. Oh, there's some sticks. There we go. Oh, you can still feel it in there. But we're getting better. See that? Oh, there's another one. That head pressure is building up now that I put that standpipe in there and giving more pressure. I think that's pretty good. Did we get it out of there? All right, so let's close this while we want that pressure to build up in that pipe. Let's take a look at our pump. All right, so we got a little bit of water coming down from the hose that's supplying the water tower. But as far as I can see in there, it looks to be pretty much free of obstructions. There's some dirt in there, some silt. We don't want that in there. Let's we'll give a little pressure wash out here. Chance of me getting wet are very high. Yeah, now we can hook this all back up. So this right there, that's the union. And whenever you do something like this, put one of those in, because with steel pipe, you have to unthread everything. So you have to unthread the whole thing, and it's not handy. So you put a union whenever you want to splice something in the middle. So here's the components. It's really simple. It's got 2 moving parts. It's got 2 check valves, single swing check valves. Here's one here and one here. And how it works is, and this is a valve. So coming down, this is called the drive pipe. This is the pipe that's coming down from the spring from the water supply. This is 1.25 inches. The drive pipe typically needs to be twice the size of the supply pipe, which is the pipe coming out the other end. You can pump extreme long distances with this because you're not affected by friction loss, because the volume is so low and so slow, velocity is so slow, that there isn't any friction, and you can lift 7 to 1. So for every foot of fall you have in your pump, you can lift 7 feet. That's rule of thumb. So we have the shutoff valve here, the union, a T, a single swing check valve there. This one here is working this way, and this one here is working this way. And then we have another T that goes up to an air tube, a 90, a pressure gauge, a valve to close down the other side to prime it. So when we're starting the pump, we'll close this valve here because we need some back pressure. So as the pump water comes down, let's just do it together here. As the water comes down here, we'll open this, and you'll see this is called the waste valve. Okay, now you see how that slams shut? So it slams shut because there's no back pressure, and so there's energy in this water, right? And so as the water comes down, it's got to go somewhere. So it's looking, it's like a teenager. It searches out the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is this waste valve because it's sitting open. So as the water starts coming out and that energy is pushing out, it pushes that, carries that valve along with it, and it, boom, that door shuts. It has closed off that access. The water can no longer come out of there. Well, that energy's got to go somewhere, right? So it goes down now that that door is shut, and it pushes through here, opening this valve, and then it runs into the back pressure that's coming down from the line. It can't go there. So the only place the energy can go is to squeeze the air in this tube. It's just nothing but just ambient air in there sealed off. So it squeezes the air, it pushes back, and that back pressure now closes this valve right here. So the energy is, it goes here, it can't go there, comes here, goes there, can't go there, closes this valve. The only place that water has to go is out the top. And so when we see it up at the top there, we'll see that it's surging. The water surges like this, and this, and this. And what that is doing, that's just showing the action of the pump. So we'll build up pressure here by priming it a couple times. And what that's doing now, doing this manually, it's building up pressure, and it doesn't take much. Now it's working on its own right there. Look at that. It's working on its own. It's building pressure in a pressure gauge. Now here's the fiddly bit. We can see our pressure gauge here. We're holding right at about 24 pounds. Now we got to slowly open this drive pipe because it's empty. There's no water in it. This is pushing up. This is going to the water tower up the hill. But I'm going to crack this open a little bit, but I don't want my pressure to drop so far that the pump stops working. But you can see now that the pump is slowing down. And what it's doing is now it's filling that line, it's filling this drive line. And once that fills up, gets up there, 10 feet or so up, I can open it all the way and it have enough back pressure to there be enough resistance for it to work. Okay, so here we are at the other end of the pipe, probably 300 feet or so above where the pump is working, and probably 40 feet of elevation. I can hear it coming. We're gonna have a wet ear here in a minute. 3, 2, 1. There it is. How about that, huh? That may not seem like a big deal to you if you haven't ever been around or know what it takes to lift water and to pump water out of the ground and to move it large distances. Go spend a time in a remote village in Africa where they have to carry everything a 5-gallon bucket at a time, and something like this. Well, what do you think that would be worth?